What's happening, fellas? My name is Yogi Roth of the Pac-12 Networks, and it's an honor to join you. So I have a couple thoughts that I always love to share with freshmen. Some of them were shared with me when I was a player, way back in the day now, or when I was coaching in this conference back in the day, or even now when I talk to other teams and other freshmen that are coming and entering into this next journey, which is, of course, college football. Number one, you have dreamt of this opportunity. You have laid in bed at night, looked up to your ceiling and said, I believe I'm a D1 football player. I believe I can get a degree. So how are you going to take advantage of it is my big question to all of you. I got three thoughts. The first one, and I can remember when I was a freshman, I asked a fifth-year senior, I said, hey, what should I do to make sure I take advantage of this opportunity? And he looked at me square in the eyes, he was our quarterback, and he said, Yogi, every day after practice, there's going to be people on our sideline that are alumni, influential in the community, can help you in your career. He said, go get 3 business cards every day. And every Tuesday and Wednesday, after every practice for 4 years, at Pitt is where I went to school, I got 3 business cards. You all don't have to necessarily do that because you got social media now. You can DM 3 people a day. You can slide into their messenger on LinkedIn 3 times per day. You can grow your community as large and as often as you like. And that community can multiply because of the jersey that you're wearing, because of the institution that you're at, and because of the sport that you play. So number one, take advantage of that. Don't be that guy that lets the game prostitute you. Don't be the guy that lets the game just take from you your sweat, your blood, your tears, your time, your craft, your passion. Make sure you utilize the game for yourself. Whether you want to be in TV, come sit next to me anytime I'm calling one of your games. You want to be in business? Find somebody in the business school to connect you with an alumni. Number 2, I believe that our imaginations are always working. Your imagination is always working. You imagine yourself playing in the Rose Bowl. You imagine yourself bringing a national championship. You imagine winning a Pac-12 title. What is also working is your sense of wonderment, right? And I believe imagination and wonder are tied together. And sometimes as we get recruited, or sometimes when we become freshmen and we go to training camp, our sense of wonder, our sense of joy gets turned off. I call it the wonder switch. Somebody turns that off. Maybe it's your position coach and says, you know what, you're not ready to be a starter here right now. Bang, your love for the game isn't there. Maybe it was in recruiting and they said, you're not a 5-star player. Bang, wonder switch was turned off. If you felt that, give me a nod. I bet most of you have. I know most of the locker rooms I talk to, pretty much 100% of the people had that wonder switch turned off at some point. The problem is that our imagination's always working. And sometimes our imagination isn't imagining the Rose Bowl or winning a natty, but our imagination is thinking about, I gotta get out of here, I'm gonna transfer. This place isn't really for me. I don't really love the craft anymore. Man, football's become a job. So I challenge you to remind yourselves in your freshman year, because your freshman year is going to be a challenge, from today through training, through practice, through games, through class, through missing your family. It's not going to be easy, and that sense of wonder, that sense of joy will be turned off, but it'll be turned off by somebody else. And when that happens, recognize it, and I ask you and challenge you to turn it back on. I want you to love the game that you grew up loving. I want you to imagine yourself doing the things you imagine yourself doing. Don't let that go once you hit adversity, because that's just a natural part of life. When it gets more competitive, adversity is going to welcome itself into your life. You got to learn how to say hi to it, pet it, talk to it, and not let it turn off your sense of wonderment for the craft. And then finally, number 3, I think this era is the best era in the history of college football because college football players have a platform. You have a voice. Athletes are using it. You're gonna use it. So figure out how to use it. Get to know your voice, get to know your story. Do what I call the lonely work. Get to know where you're from, what your background is. What do you love? What do you like? What do you want to share? What do you want to stand for? So when you have the opportunity to stand for it, whether it's on the Pac-12 networks or on your Instagram account, stand for it. Don't just be putting selfies up. Don't just be about making yourself look sweet. Stand for something bigger. Use the game to elevate your voice because it's being heard. And that's something really serious, and that's something that hasn't happened very often in college athletics and college football, and I've been in it over 20 years now. So I say those 3 things to recap. 1, get to know people in your campus. Use your leverage. Use your community. Build a community around you and your culture and your passions. 2, when that wonder switch gets turned off, turn it on. And finally, fellas, get to know yourself and your story so you can share it. With that said, I'm an open book. hit me up on social media if you'd like. Your staff knows my number, my email. It's really simple. It's yogi@yogiroth.com. And if I can do anything to help, holler at me. All right, good luck. Congratulations.